I've got to ask you about YouTube boxing, because we've seen this incredible rise. Really, I do know how I feel about it. I'm not really a massive fan of it. I've got to be honest, Eddie. For me, really, it's more when you saw Mayweather fighting one of the Paul brothers, Jake, wasn't it, or was it Logan? It was Logan, the older one. I just kind of. What I tried to do was accept it as like an exhibition fight and sort of go, well, obviously this is not a genuine fight. And I almost felt like there was a storyline already carved ahead of the actual fight itself. So I don't know, like it's a weird phenomenon, because in one way you think, well, actually, is it bringing more eyes onto the sport? And then there's a big argument against it with the purists, isn't there?
Yeah, I think there's good and bad. I mean, firstly, let's address Floyd Mayweather against Logan Paul, which was the biggest joke I've ever seen. You've got a pound-for-pound great fighter, arguably the greatest fighter of all time, against a 0-1 YouTuber, right? All that is a money grab, right? Okay, it is what it is. Floyd Mayweather said, after he said, "You lot, I've robbed the bank tonight, thank you very much." It was a disgrace that was even broadcast, to be honest with you. Now, if there's a fight between someone that's taking boxing seriously and someone that can fight, I'm talking about Jake Paul against Tyrone Woodley coming up. I'm not offended by it, right? Jake Paul is in the gym, he's doing the hard sparring, he's beat now a couple of fighters, or not really, but UFC fighters at least. Different. I did Logan Paul against KSI, two guys that can't really fight, at that professional level. But it was a 50-50 fight. We sold out the Staples Centre. I did millions of buys worldwide on pay-per-view. Yeah. But I did feel uncomfortable. I have to be honest. I'm a boxing purist. I've been around the sport since I was 7 years old. I love the sport so much. And when you're doing press conferences and one bloke's going, "Yeah, well, your mum's this," and I'm like, "Oh my God, let me just fold into my chair here." So, but I will say this: it does bring new eyeballs onto the sport. But it's only worth bringing those new eyeballs in if you can educate them when they come in. Yeah. So I don't want people just watching YouTube boxing. If these new fans come into the sport and want to watch Fight Camp on Saturday on DAZN, or want to watch Anthony Joshua, or want to watch Josh Warrington in Leeds, or Katie Taylor, or these emerging female fighters, great. Yeah. But the problem is too much of it. The good news is, for real fight fans, is we are, as in the professional code, under pressure to produce the right content now, because if we don't make the best fights, if we don't drive numbers, if we don't engage people in the sport, you will see more and more of this YouTube action, because broadcasters, one thing it is doing is numbers, right? So, and broadcasters are led by numbers. So they will say after a while, "Look, you're doing these great fights, but this stuff is rating out the park." So we have to stand firm with the real stuff, but make the fights that are big enough to compete, and make the fights that are big enough to compel that new audience if they do choose to come in.
And just one quick one, Ed. There's loads of questions coming in, but when are the tickets for sale for Joshua?
We're going to announce today when they'll go on sale. So keep locked across Matchroom socials, because we are getting swamped with people saying when, how. And
exactly.
talkSPORT Breakfast with Laura Woods, Monday to Wednesday mornings 6 till 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.